from Gen X Unchained. We used to be called Gen X and Beyond, but we went through major changes. Now we're Gen X Unchained. Still the same two knuckleheads running it. We're going to be doing some other posts, and it's a new show starting tomorrow night on Monday. The topic will be marijuana and legalization in states and federal. Please come join us. It'll be 7 p.m. Central. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. And then you guys know the rest. Uh, but for tonight, I am a guest on Unchained Down Rabbit Hole. We're going to be talking about flat Earth and the conspiracy. So please join us, sit back, have some fun, and we'll be with you in about 15 minutes or less. Until then, you guys have a wonderful evening. Sit back and enjoy the show. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, share, turn that bell notification on. And if you decide that you want to help out, QR codes there at the bottom of the screen. So until I return here in a few minutes, I'll see you guys then.
other platform, there's been thousands of people do the same topic. Like, I mean, even in the motorcycle community, dude, we've done the same topics as other people because there's only so much that evolves around motorcycles that you can do. You know what I mean? And everybody's done them. Everybody's done different upgrades, the same upgrades. Everybody's done how to wash your bike, but that's different how they do it. You know what I mean? How to change your oil, how to change the fluids. It's you got a different talking point, different aspect from other people. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what you want to bring to your channel and how much time you actually want to put in it. If you want to put and make it successful, I would say you show your face in every freak. You got to be everywhere at every time. I mean, you got to jump in these people's chats. Get on a live, advertise your channel as much as you can. But you want to be talking, but I'm saying you want to be trying to get your name out there, not for other YouTubers, but for people that watch YouTube. Don't get stuck in a community of people that's as far as your channel is going to go. Because you don't want to and it's fine knowing other YouTubers like us and stuff. I love meeting people. Don't get me wrong. I love having my friends on YouTube that actually have channels. That's how I've met a lot of people. But I try to separate, my channel from my personal. I want people to, I don't want to be stuck in that little circle of 30 people and that's it. You know what I mean? I want call me selfish, call me conceited, ego. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings for someone's opinion about me. I want to freaking everybody to watch. I want people that don't even do YouTube. You know what I mean? I want everybody to watch.
All right, Ray. I got to put a cork in you. All right, we're ready to go? Here we go.
Let's do it.
Cause it only takes one little slip to go one way down the rabbit hole. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. I'm on the edge.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rabbit Hole, where tonight we'll be discussing, is the Earth flat, or is it round, or is it square? Hell, I don't know. Anyway, tonight we have Ray's Men of Life to the right, left of me. Of course, me, you're the best-looking host on YouTube, the best-looking host on any podcast you'll find anywhere, John. Anyway, with that being said, I think Ray's got a video he wants to show us, and we'll start it off with that, and we'll head into it.
Of a person who thinks the world is flat, you would see this. The North Pole is right here in the center. The continent's splayed out over this plain. And here on the edges, you'd run into a 150-foot wall of ice, guarded by NASA employees with guns.
And how far that ice goes outwards. And when people try to go down there, they get turned away at gunpoint and put in prison.
The heavens are a dome that arcs over the flat Earth. The sun, the moon, the stars, they're all just little balls of light in the sky that move around just above the Earth's surface. There are loads of people who actually believe this. YouTube channels and Facebook pages, you'll see hundreds of thousands of followers. Google searches for the term flat Earth proof over time look like this. It's become incredibly popular. And recently a poll showed that only 84% of Americans agree with the statement, "I have always believed the world is round." 84%. And if you're 18 to 24, that's more like 66%, which is like dangerously close to half. What is going on here?
Now the North Pole is the center of a deep ocean, whereas the South Pole is the center of a high plateau which averages 7,000 or 8,000 feet in altitude.
This is frustrating, and what's even more frustrating is every time I try to look into this and understand it, all I see is coverage of like flat earther conventions and like interviews with these people.
We absolutely know for a fact this ain't it.
These interviews are interesting, but I want to understand like how someone with a thinking brain can actually get behind this. What is this actual belief? Where does it come from? And how do potentially millions of people believe that the earth is flat?
The water.
Let's stop right there for a minute. We'll see what we'll jump back up so we don't run it completely. So that's kind of like the base start of what people believe, that there's a wall of ice around. It's around. We're like in a globe, and I think, and even there is. And I also watched another video saying there is a small percentage of the Christian. There's a Christian group.
Yeah.
A small percentage of Christians. They don't really speak out a lot because they're afraid that they're going to be criticized or whatever, that they believe because of the Bible. And of course, a lot of people can take that out of interpretation, or whatever, because God said, and let's just take Christians out of it. Let's take, even if you don't believe in God, let's take that out. Earth, it's a perfect ecosystem. Animals, from the plants to the bees that pollinate to everything works in consistent order the way it's supposed to. So if you don't believe in God, that's your business. But here's the thing. Do you believe there was a creator? There had to be a creator. Who created the earth? Did it just pop up? I don't believe that. I believe in God, but a lot of people don't believe in God. A lot of people are not Christians. So, I mean, in the Bible, it says God separated the waters from the water and created the firmament in the heavens. And he's not saying, hey, right above you in a globe, like some people believe. He's saying in the way in the heavens, is the firmament in this heaven, But these people here have completely, and I don't believe in the flat earth theory. I am a skeptic. I want proof of everything. And to me, seeing the astronauts and stuff go up, anybody can put a fish lens on and make it look like, anything round. So I'm real skeptic. I've seen a lot of videos on, their mess ups and falls, and why does our government keep paying billions of dollars to NASA and we're not even doing nothing? They're not in.
I think a lot of people, like you said, Ray, they get it from the Bible, because a lot of people believe what the Bible says is basically they think we live in like a dome, that the earth is flat, and that you had and I don't know, man. Wouldn't you fall off? I mean,
well, not if the ice wall and they stop, if
okay,
like
so is
he
there
was
an
saying,
ice wall? Wait a minute now. Is there an ice wall completely around?
yes,
this
that's
earth?
what they're saying. Yes.
See, but you would always end up there on every continent.
But do you know how big the earth is, though? Do you know how many moons can fit inside the earth?
Somebody would be at the end, though. That's what I'm saying. You have to find the end. There has to be an end. So you would have to run into the end of that.
What do you mean?
So
Not if it's a round circle.
If it's a round circle,
It will never go. There would never be an end. There would just be a wall.
Even if you have a circle, there's going to be a spot where you're going to stop.
Well, yeah, it's just a wall. Yeah, but it's just they're saying it's so big that it's like
go up in a plane, or you'd be able to go up in space and see that the Earth was like that. I mean, so
well,
that would mean that they're lying to us, and that the Earth is. I mean,
there's a rapper that's made a video, man. He was on a podcast and he said it changed his mind. He 100% believes. He said he has flown enough to other countries so many times. He said they have never flown north to south. They've always flown east to west, back and forth in a straight line. They've never flown over the North Pole or South Pole. They've never went in north or south. They've only flew left or right. And now you can fly north to south, like, Florida to New York, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about like flying, to other countries. And the way he put it, he's like, he said, dude, I've been on a plane so many times. He said, we never go any other direction but left to right,
Hey, Gloria.
And like I said, I don't
Andy
believe
Hall
it, but
Road.
I'd like to. I like to understand why when people take pictures and stuff of the stars, like the stars are not, they don't see burning gas. They see it looks like like lights that are in a water. It's. And I think the reason the searches are a lot more on Google is because it is a big talking point on social media. So more people are
All
searching
right,
it out.
let's get in here. Let's get some of our other co-hosts in here and get their opinion. Coy, what do you think, man? What's happening? Is it flat? Is Earth flat?
No flat Earth. The Earth isn't flat.
And
Let's
why
not
you say
kid
that?
ourselves. I've been in the plains a lot, and you can go north south. I went north south. That's a falsehood. You don't just go east and west.
So you've been over the North Pole.
Now I've flown from north to south.
Well, yeah, you can
flown
fly
from
from, like
here
I said,
to-
from New York to Florida. You can go north to south, but you're not going
Yeah,
around the world. You're not going.
You can go from Alaska to most southern parts you want to go flying. And there's no wall nowhere. I mean, they got satellites that orbit the Earth. They orbit the Earth. There's a reason why they orbit the Earth, right? And that's how you get your GPS and stuff like that. So no, and then the waters that the ice walls that you're talking about, they would eventually melt and go away, because you can't have the whole circle frozen like that. That doesn't make no sense either to me. That's just my opinion, but I think I'm right anyway. But
I think I'm right anyway.
What's up, Frog?
All right, hey Frogs, I'll check, brother. Thank you, man. Good to see you. So, Dave, what do you think, man? What's happening? Is it flat? Is it round? Is it square? Is it just what is it, man?
you're gonna get flinged off. Yeah. No. Now that's to say if we're spinning. They might say we're not spinning.
Doesn't the
That's what
Earth
they
supposed
say.
to spin 17,000 miles an hour? Why is the clouds not spin? Why is it not blowing the clouds away?
That's what I heard.
Earth is so big
That we're
that
not spinning.
when you're closer to the center, you're going to spin faster than it's going to spin faster than you are on the outside. The outside will be spinning that fast, but it doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's going in slow motion.
Don't make no sense.
If you ever run a lathe and you spin something, you can see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See it, Frog.
Yeah. And then how you have sunset and sunrise. I mean, without the Earth rotating and without the circling the sun, and have the backside and that's dark and the other side that's light. How do you justify the morning and the night? How's that going to work?
If the Earth doesn't spin and the other does, if you
how about we just all get into a spacecraft and go up there and look down for ourselves?
Well, one man tried, and he ended up going. He said he put himself in a rocket and shot himself up to the. I swear he did. It was on CBS News, man. I've been watching some stuff. It's crazy. Like he wanted to see for himself. He ended up having to go to the hospital. Ambulance was there to get him. I don't know what I was sick because it was such a short clip. It was,
And what would hold all the water in?
Well, they say the wall would, but what gets me is
Yeah, because
how,
There'd be
how,
no holes in the wall whatsoever.
how do we have so much water on Earth? And I mean, gravity's just keeping
Gravity's
billions and billions and trillions of gallons just sitting here
You
around
ever,
an
you ever
Earth
put
that's
water in a bucket on a rope and sling it,
yeah.
and the water
But
stays in the
wouldn't
bucket?
that like move the water to the middle and overtake the land though?
You know, so it's
Wouldn't
basically
that pull
something
it
like
out of
that.
the or pull it to one part of the Earth? I mean, if it's spinning that much and if water's going to move to a
So,
certain
well, that
part,
just shows you how
like a
gravity holds.
bucket,
It
you
shows
know,
you how gravity holds something in.
it would all go to the center and then sit.
Philip
but
Robbins
it's-
says because everything in the atmosphere, including the clouds, is rotating with the Earth. It's not like the Earth is spinning under a still sky. The atmosphere is held in place by gravity. So
The Earth is spinning, and then the Earth is spinning around the sun, rotating around the sun. Everything's rotating. Everything's moving. It can't be stationary. It wouldn't work that way. Nothing's just sitting there still. Everything's moving. Everything's vibrating. Everything has frequency. Everything is moving.
Jay says the Earth is actually pear-shaped as it spins, not round.
Yeah, it's not. You know, it looks perfectly round.
Right.
Right. Oblong, kind of oblong shape. You know, like not quite like an egg, but you know, it's not that much out of distortion. It might be just a little bit. And you talk about, yeah, the moon does cause the gravitational, you know, keeps the Earth in the water because the moon creates the high tides and low tides of the pull, the gravitational pull. So you have all that holding everything together, and then the moon affects the gravitational pull on the waters. So that's why you have high tide and low tide. It's because of the moon.
America Uncensored said Earth isn't spinning, it's hollow, flat Earth that bounces. Wow. Don't know about that one.
Well,
Sure.
I just don't.
That's
I don't
out
know.
there.
I question things.
A lot of theories out there, though. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever know because I don't think we'll ever get. You know, I mean, we go to school for how many years? 12 to 16 years, and that's. I mean, they teach us right off the bat with a globe in the classroom that the Earth is round. So, I mean, it's you know, like I said, I don't necessarily believe it's flat. I'm just a skeptic. I think I question more things than I do. You know, I just believe whatever everybody says. That ain't the way I live. I don't just go on, you know, believing what somebody else says. You know, because after you know seeing so much stuff that's been debunked and lies told, you know, I just don't trust anybody. You know, it's hard for me to
And
trust
if
anybody.
you have
So,
a flat Earth, then what's underneath it?
well, I mean, it would be a thick if it was truly flat. Let's just say, for example, it was truly
There
flat.
won't be no hot core.
No, it would be, well, it could be, but it would be, you got to think how big the earth is. So take away the roundness of it and just imagine it more coming down, you know what I mean? And we're on a flat plane. It would still be thick because it's so big, you know what I mean? Because if earth is really as big as they say, I mean, it's massive, you know what I mean? It's a massive planet.
Jay, let me say something real quick. Jay says, why don't they film takeoff in full coverage to the moon? Well, I'll tell you why, because we never went to the moon. There's no way you could get past the radiation belt, but we did that live stream. But yeah, I mean, so you're telling me if it's a flat Earth, it's just so huge, it's so big, it's so massive that we can't reach the end of it?
Well, it says that you can fit approximately 50 moons in the Earth.
And they orbit the satellites around the Earth, and they show pictures of, you know. So yeah, To me, flat Earth is.
It says the Earth's diameter is roughly 8,000 miles, while the moon is close to 2,000. So they're saying you can fit approximately 50 moons could fit inside the Earth.
Foxzilla says a major catastrophic event getting ready to happen with all the volcanoes going off and earthquakes on the Ring of Fire. It's all getting ready to implode. Let's see here.
Well,
up to so many centuries, they all had flat maps. Every ancient culture had, the flat maps. They didn't start going to the round globe maps until a certain time.
You're right, because they didn't have no way to get up there to look down on the Earth.
But do you believe that we have spaceship? I mean, there's rings around the atmosphere. I don't believe anybody has been to. They keep saying space. Now, I'm not saying they don't go up to the inner atmosphere up here. I'm sure they do, but I don't believe anyone. Now, they just came out like a month ago. I think I read and watched, and not just watched a video. It was on the news saying that they found a black hole out in deep space, but you couldn't see it. Now, how are they going to find a black hole in deep space if you can't see it? They couldn't see it. So how do they know there's a black hole there if you can't see it? Explain it. But how do they have any kind of camera or any function of internet or any service that can go to deep space, but I can't get it 10 feet after I leave my driveway? How do they have any kind of, okay,
and we have rovers on Mars that send back pictures and videos. It's on a delay. It takes 6-7 hours to get a picture or a video back, or it might be even longer than that. Maybe 12 hours.
Philip Robbins says it's a glowing ring of gas around the black hole. That's what they can see. Gotcha. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah.
But it's funny how they say we have more technology to get us to the moon in 1969 than we do now, though. And we have all that technology. We have so much more in one little cell phone than they did back then.
I'll give you that right there.
They can't go back
Why
to the
haven't we been
moon.
back to the moon? Why? You're right. Why haven't we been back to the moon?
They keep saying they had the technology back then, but now, and I'm like, but now the advanced technology, we have AI, everything. We should be blowing that out the water. They should be making monthly trips.
Wait. We should have a space station on the moon. So that
it should already been built.
Wait a minute. How are you going to get to the moon when you can't get through the radiation belt? You'd have to go 2 hours in that radiation belt. There's no way you're going to survive.
And
you're not going to survive it. It'll kill you.
And going in tinfoil,
that's why we haven't been or haven't been.
When your spaceship's made of tinfoil and cardboard, it ain't going to make it. Seriously, you see these rovers and things, and it's thin as freaking tinfoil, and I'm like, And what did they say? There's over 30,000 something little pieces of asteroid rock and stuff flying through space at thousands of miles per hour. Like
Yes.
it would completely tear the rovers up. It would completely go through the suits. If they were actually in space, it would be just beating them to death. It would, it would tear through the space station. I mean,
Yeah, that you got a point there, Ray. All
you
that
got to look
space
at both
stuff
sides
flying
and
around
not,
and all those rocks flying all over the place. You would think
yeah, because they
that,
say it's constant, man. So how do you weigh that out? And I'm just playing both sides here. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
right.
It's
how do
all
you
being
do this? And
deceiving.
but then you got all this going towards you, against you. I mean, then, how are they figuring out how to, bypass like, the radiation, and all, when they said you can't even, it would kill anybody. I mean, you can't get through it. I think they said
Well,
there's
wait a
10
minute.
different layers of different things,
How
Maybe
would
we
you
maybe
shield
we, maybe we
yourself
could
from
get
that?
to it now. Maybe we have technology. Maybe I'm not saying we do. Maybe we do now, but we sure the hell didn't back then. There's
hell
no
it's
damn way.
sick. I mean, salty.
There's no
sick.
damn way they we had the knowledge or
I don't believe it.
anything to get through that technology to get
Well,
to
is there
the radiation.
just, I think lead's the only thing that can shield you from radiation, right?
Yeah,
What is it?
I
Lead.
think so. Lead.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, how
you
much
can't-
lead weighs?
You can't line a spaceship with lead. You never get it off the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's like, I mean,
Yep. Hey, sick. Hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, they would have to be very thin too, because that stuff's heavy too. That's not like, yeah. Right. Because your planes are paper thin, man. I mean, if a plane hits a bird, it's going to damage it really bad.
yep, it'll tear an engine
So
out too.
to
I mean,
get the coverage and the protection.
Thanks, sick.
What happened? There we go.
Mhm.
Oh, I just went black for a second. But anyway,
Wow. You blacking out on us, man.
no, my screen went black for a second.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, to put enough protection on something and get
I
it off
agree
the
with you,
ground,
Riley.
I don't know. I mean, because like I said, planes, they're so paper thin, because you wouldn't get them off the ground. And like I said, daggone bird will hit a plane and damage it. That's why they make sure there's no birds on the runways and stuff like that, and they avoid birds and stuff like that. So I don't know how they would put enough protection on us, spacecraft to protect you from that radiation belt. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would be.
Well, let's rein it back in because we did a live stream already on the moon landings.
well, let's start some of this video again. Let's go
circle
back
it
to
back
this
in.
for a second, and let's go up here and see what else he's saying.
Is completely flat for as far as we can see and as far as we've measured, and the horizon is completely flat.
I'm in Mexico now. I've been sitting on the beach reading everything there is to read about the history of people who believe the earth is flat. And there's one thing that I just had to try for myself.
This is a simple experiment that anybody can conduct to determine definitely that the earth is flat. Grab a spirit level and take it on the plane with you.
117. Found this hardware store, bought myself a level. Gracias, amigo.
One of the strangest things you've ever done.
and I'm bringing it with me on the airplane. I'm gonna do some of this empirical science myself.
If you are to fly on a non-rotating Earth, please explain what kind of experience will a pilot really have?
The logic goes that if the Earth is round and I'm flying thousands of miles, which I'm about to do, then the airplane will have to be tipped a little bit the whole time in order to make it around the curvature of the Earth.
The plane should be constantly dipping its nose forward in order to compensate for the curvature.
Show me some planes doing this.
I would be able to see the tilt of the airplane if I put my newly purchased level on the tray table in front of me.
I'm going to take my spirit level onto the plane.
If my tool shows me that the plane is totally level,
that's proof that the Earth is flat.
Let's go see what happens.
No, that is not proof.
Can somebody explain to me duty-free? Why perfume? Why is there so much perfume in duty-free?
Does not prove anything because you can't be flat at a certain point. Yeah,
I think it depends on how long you fly too.
Yeah,
my little level experiment worked wonderfully.
That would
the
be-
bubble stayed nice and center.
just
Turns out the plane was not
The
dipping
Earth's
its
round and
nose
you're
in
up in
order
the air.
to make it around the Earth. This dipping.
Yeah, that's just so stupid right there because
That is so stupid.
Well, you would have to fly from country to country, or you know what I mean. You'd have to try to fly
You're gonna be
around the
level
whole
with plane
world.
At some point, you know
No,
what
I
I
think
mean?
that's retarded. But you'd
Yeah,
have to
that's
fly. You'd have to get on a flight
Oh my God.
and say, "I want to go to Bangkok and then to China." To you know what I mean, like to try to go around the whole world. You'd have to, because you ain't gonna go around the whole world on. You'd have to stop many times to change flights and you know what I mean, refuel and.
Yeah,
I don't think you could test it like that.
No,
I don't think that's accurate, in my opinion.
and
'Cause
why
he can,
can't,
like,
you see, why can't you see from one end to the other then? Why couldn't you go to the end of the Earth if it's flat to one end and take your
can you
binoculars
see the end of your county?
and take your binoculars and if it in a straight line and see the other end? Why can't you see the other end?
It's huge. Yeah,
Yeah, go
jump
ahead.
in. Yes. 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 Well, I can't remember if it was clear or not, but yeah, I was 16 years old. I stopped on my way to Colorado. Yeah.
Well, right. Right. Right.
Yeah, but are you seeing the curvature of the earth? Because if the earth is that big, wouldn't you just be seeing a horizon that may not be the curvature or may not be the end? I mean, seriously, because they say it's so big, earth is so big. How could we even see that far to see the curvature? You know what I mean? Like, unless yours in the air.
Well, let me read this. Let me read this real quick, guys. Hold your train of thought. This is salty. I have seen the Earth out of the back of a C-140, and I can assure you that it's a spear. You can see it as you exit on a halo jump. So,
Yes.
But
And
that's what I don't get, because then they
that's
say,
why you can't see the end.
but then
of-
there's an argument saying, well, Earth is so big, you can't see this and that. Then people say this, and I believe Salty because, you know, I believe he's done what, you know, I believe what the man says. But what I'm saying is, how do you see something when they say, oh, it's so big, you can't see the whole, You know what I mean? The whole Earth, you can't see the horizon.
Hey,
Or
Sterling,
you know
good to
what
see you,
really
man.
gets me though is when I can see the moon during the day and the sun at the same time. And so, where's the daylight in China or Japan? You know, why ain't the moon over there if it's dark? If it's sunny here at 3 o'clock and I can see the moon and the sun, this is what makes me curious about things. Why? Why is it there? Why are we seeing it if it's that much smaller?
Because there's a moonrise and a moonset, just like there's a sunrise and a sunset.
But what I'm saying is, why would we be seeing the moon and the sun here? Why would, and if it's dark over there, why don't they have the moon on their side? If it's a complete side round and they're on the other side of the earth, why is the moon not over there? Or is it just straight up North Pole and everybody can see it? It would rotate the earth, the moon and the sun.
Ah, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we
That's
rotate.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point,
Yeah, I
man.
don't conform, Sterling. I'm not going to just agree to. But seriously, like it don't make sense. Some things just doesn't add up to me. You know, it's wicked how, you know what I mean? Like things are, I mean,
And then when you
you
see
know,
the eclipse, it's round, ain't it?
I mean, I've never been on a plane, so I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know. So until,
Right.
That's true too. That's a good point.
Right. It would. Yes. Yeah.
No, you make good points. Excellent points.
And if you listen to Elon Musk and SpaceX, when they bring their rockets in, they calculate by the rotation of the Earth of when they rendezvous with Earth with the rotation. They meet up with it and go with the rotation of the Earth when they come to land. So that tells you right there the Earth's spinning. So they go by the rotation of the Earth when they're bringing the rocket in. They're lining up with the rotation of the Earth. So the way they calculate how they bring their rockets back and when they're launching them is on the rotation of the Earth, of when they. Launch it over, yeah. Yeah. Right.
Well, American Centric says just the sun and moon rises and sets as it would need to on this flat surface. So is the moon what is actually causing the eclipse? I don't know. I don't know. Me personally, I think the Earth, I think the Earth is round. I mean, when you put it all together and you think about it, yeah, it has to be round. It's not going to be flat.
Can I show you just a little clip of what they say it does?
Wait a minute. Let me finish my point, and then I'll
Sorry.
let you. Wait a minute. Anyway, let me finish this. Anyway, I think it's round. I think it's been proven that it's round. I don't think there could be any other possible. I mean, flat makes no sense. Eventually, you would find the end. You would fall off. Lolly was making points out there in the chats that they would be using that as threats to throw you off the edge of the earth if you didn't comply to something or something. You know what I mean? Because there's just no way it's flat. It's just, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinions, it's pretty much obvious. But go ahead and show what you wanted to show, Ray. Go ahead.
Okay, I am. Okay.
Really small. That shining object in our sky is now not a gargantuan star several 100,000 miles in diameter and almost 100 million miles away from us, but rather, according to the flat Earth theory, it's much smaller, at around 32 miles across at the lowest estimate, and it sits only about 3,000 miles away. Then, this comparatively tiny version of the sun moves in a circular fashion, yes, but across the face of flat Earth, lighting up different regions at different times. It's an idea that does tend to struggle under further scrutiny, though, with one major flaw being that scientists have shown how light would have to bend in an impossible way for it to work. And it would never dip below the horizon, either, despite our seeing every day that it does invariably do that. Moving on to today's second most controversial flat Earth claim, though, and it concerns the constellations. The standard scientific explanation for why the constellations appear to move across the sky is again that Earth spins on its axis, exposing us to different regions of the sky at different times. The flat Earth explanation, on the other hand, bears some similarity to the previous small sun example. In the flat Earth model, Polaris, the North Star, sits directly above the center of the Earth, and the rest of the stars and constellations rotate in a circular fashion above the flat Earth.
See how that always looks
As
on
it turns
camera?
out, all you really need to do to severely challenge and/or disprove this part of the theory is fly to Australia. Because if you were to do so, and you looked up at the night sky, you would notice that you're unable to see Polaris at all.
See,
It's not
yeah,
just
that's
in a different position, which is what should be the case in most iterations of flat Earth. It isn't there at all, thanks to how the sky changes around Earth as a globe. And so...
So they disproved that one there. You know, you can't see Polaris if you go to Australia. But the way the stars right there was looking, and a lot of people, a lot of those flat earthers, they believe like those stars, you know, like they're not balls of gas or something, or they're in the firmament or whatever, because they wouldn't smudge like that, you know, and they would look different. Probably not. Every blue moon we can, or ever, not real blue moon, but every once in a while, they'll report that you can see them from where I'm at, but I'm never up that late. So,
Frogzilla
I mean,
says they are saying the solar flares have something to do with all the with the volcanoes and earthquakes that's going on. Yeah, Coy, you were telling me that it was causing people to feel weird and everything. All the solar flares that were happening and stuff. So I could see that, Frogzilla. I could definitely see that.
It does mess with you,
Yeah.
Drop calls.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the bad part of this technology is everything being put on
Yeah, controlled by a
digital.
switch.
Yeah, and if the grid goes down, or if we have you know, an EMP that destroys all of our electrical grid, then we're done. We're lost.
Well, we go back to the
We don't keep nothing on paper.
Stone
and we
Age.
convert just into digital, and nothing's written down. Why do you think that the people living, you know, 2,000 years ago wrote on stone? Because they knew that would last forever. Digital could be gone in an instant.
Oh yeah.
Oh, everything's gone. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. Everybody's gone.
So who's supposed to just get it then if it happens?
Depends on where you're at, where the Earth is at that time. Right. Yep.
Sterling Will says, I appreciate nonconformity, but the science is completely proven on Earth being round. Ray just needs to study Galileo or ride in a airplane. I mean, I don't think Galileo. I'm sorry. Thanks, Dave. I don't think Ray's a flat earther. He just likes to play devil's advocate. And
Yeah.
that's what we like.
Well, not just that. It's like, who are you listening to? The same people that taught the people that teach you in schools to lies.
This is true.
It's all the same people. If you're
Yeah.
going to believe one, you're believing them all.
And have they been up there to see?
You can't
what's
tell me
down?
you went through school and everything and truly believe everything they've told you. If you do, then I feel sorry for you. I mean, this is where I get curious because I don't believe what everybody has taught me in school. I don't believe all that stuff. Now, I believe a lot of things, but I don't believe in every single thing. I don't believe that they indoctrinate you from a very young age. They want you thinking and they want to mass production you on a job for 40 years. And, there's just a lot I believe I don't think
Well,
I should
they
put
train
up.
you
I
for
should
that.
say because
You
it'll
are
get
trained
into a
in school
different
to be
rabbit
a
hole.
good little worker.
I didn't either.
A whole lot.
Yep. I don't know. I ain't been there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've never been in a plane, so I can't contest to that. I mean, I don't have a lot of schooling. I dropped out my half of my 10th grade year, so I got a ninth grade education. I read on a fifth grade level. I have more common sense. I have street smarts. I'm not trying to say anything about my ego. I'm just saying you can drop me in the woods or you can drop me in the city, and I know how to survive. I was raised 15 years in the city and then moved back to the country. My family's from originally the country. So, I mean, I can get by. Uh, I'm actually in a part. I believe if something did happen like that nuclear whatever spear or solar flare, whatever, I ain't saying I could outlast everybody, but I do know that I'm not going to starve in 3 days. I do know certain things to take care. The main thing would be, trying to dive into these books that these people have wrote and told us. But where did the science come from? Where did they just make it up? I mean, did they just? I mean, yes, they study things, but what do they study? You know what I mean? Before, when the teachings are passed down, how did the ancient people actually study it if they didn't have the tools to study it? Did they guess at it and just say, "Oh, that's this and this is the way this is"? And well, I mean, our studies go back. They believe, scientists believe that we were created out of a boom, and then dinosaurs, and then a frog jumped in the water and came out, walked a monkey, and then into us. So, I mean, shit. If we evolved from monkeys, why is monkeys even still around? There wouldn't be any monkeys. You know what I mean? Uh,
It's a direction, America.
well, I know the Mayans did a lot of the calendar and stuff. Yeah. Um, but how did they know how to go just from
The aliens brought them the knowledge, Ray.
Easter Island? Come on, guys. Why?
Come on.
The aliens, why is everything lined up with certain constellations?
All the angels brought the knowledge to us.
Had to be. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And if it was flat, if the Earth was flat, wouldn't it be warm all over? Why is it cold in the north and hot in the south?
It's the center of the Earth.
If the sun was straight over the Earth, a flat Earth shining straight down on it, it would be the same temperature all the way around, right?
But I just showed you that model. It's not hitting on no, because they said the North would be, or Antarctica or whatever would be in the center. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's all questionable. I think you should question, and I'm not saying anything like bad, and I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying I think everybody should at least come to their own conclusion and believe what they want.
You should question everything.
And here's another little thing about the firmament. When God separated the firmament, the separation of what was the expanse that separated water from water. Okay, in the Bible, the expanse that that separated the waters above from the waters below is called the firmament, sky or heaven. This separation is described in Genesis 1:6-8. Okay, where God creates this space, often translated as an expanse in English, to divide the waters. In English, it means to divide the waters. The expanse is described as a physical structure, a barrier between the waters above and the waters below. So, if you believe the Bible, or even like I said on the beginning, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in that, if you believe that there is such thing as a creator, that somebody created all this, and you believe that they had to create the earth, so why wouldn't they create the water. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they
There is
separate
waters
it?
in the
Because
heavens because they rain down on the earth. There's a cycle. It comes from the earth, goes to the heavens, and comes back down to the earth and rotates.
and like I said, you can talk to 10 different
We're
preachers
in
and
a
you'll
big
probably get
snow
10 different
globe.
answers. But a lot of people, think we live in a snow globe, and a lot of people think we
Oh, that's
live.
the permanent on the outside. The earth is surrounded by water. You're
Yes.
correct. Yeah. Yes. Right.
Well, no, there's a difference. There's people that believe we live like in a snow globe, and then there's people that believe there's a dome. We live
No,
like a
it's
dome.
no. We are encapsulated with the like you're saying, the firmament. It does circle the whole earth.
It circles the earth, but we're not a flat earth.
No.
And they think that, or they said that the dome. I'm trying to put this where it don't sound wackadoodle, but okay.
Wackadoodle.
The heaven is in the firmament above. You know what I mean? Like far deep. And the way they see it, and the way some of them has interpreted it, is you can't go outside. And we ain't talking about the radiation things and all that. We're talking about you can't go outside because it's water. Like that's why, they think the skies are just so far up. And they did an experiment. I was watching one of those videos, and I haven't looked it up yet, but they said they were talking about that they had some scientist people did that and built a dome and, was living in it they were doing it as a testing thing and was trying, like they did the movie Biodome or whatever. Like they really built this structure and stuff and lived in it for so long to test the theory if they could live under a dome, if there would be a dome over the earth like that where they could live. And like I said, I just heard that on another video. I'm going to dive into it later and see if it's real, if people did build that to see if, they could do it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was mentioned in a video I was watching that these scientists or these people really built this, and did that to see if they could live, in a closed off dome area, whatever, and actually survive. And
Hey, brother, good to see you, man.
okay.
Right. These summer exactly.
Yeah, everything would be the same. Everything would be the same everywhere. That's just. It just doesn't make any sense,
There wouldn't be a North Pole and South Pole that is frozen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think somebody was saying that in the comments too. Yeah. I mean, if you believe the Earth is flat, much respect. I mean, I'm not going to call you crazy.
How come 60 countries signed an agreement to not go to have anybody explore Antarctica?
Because there's aliens there.
No, because this goes along with the flat Earth theory too, though. I've watched it and seen it too.
How does
like
that
they
go
didn't
with
want
the flat-
anybody
how's that
knowing
go
it was
along
in
with
the
flat
center
Earth
of the
theory?
Earth
How does that go along with the flat Earth theory?
because I swear it's in a video, and they said that they didn't want people finding out the center that place was actually the center of the Earth, and that's why they're not allowed to fly over it, and and go over it because they would realize that's why they don't go. When I say north to south, I mean that way, flying over and under. You know what I mean? The South Pole and North Pole. Now they might fly to Alaska and fly out of there, but like I said, when they fly, if you actually look at the map and look, and you can look it up, you can look up the flying schedules of airplanes, and it's all left to right, and they do lines on every flight, and you can see it, and it's all left to right. I don't care if you go to Japan, China, wherever, you're going left to right.
There's a
You
reason why
never
they
see
go
them
in a
going
certain-
over the Antarctica. You never see them
There's a
going.
reason why they go a certain way is because of the fuel economy of the way the Earth spins. They don't, there's certain paths that they take of least resistance. And it takes less fuel to travel that way. That's why they do that.
Jay
You know
says
what?
extra territory beyond Antarctica.
You know what? You could take anything, basically. I don't care what topic it is. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what it is. And you could spin it. You could spin anything.
Yeah, you can spin anything.
You give it some ridiculous theory.
Like the Earth spinning.
Yeah, you could put something in there. And it could always, and you could have a little. It could have a little bit of like, maybe that's maybe that's true. But when you look at everything and you look at the evidence, like I see it. When you hear different people's opinion, people that fly, people that's been, and the Earth is round. Okay, there's no way in my mind it's impossible that the Earth is flat, because just like we just talked about, the sun would be shining. The sun would be shining.
I got you,
down on
American.
everybody at the same time.
They gave you the eye lift.
I don't care, whatever. But the point is, the sun would be shining at the same time everywhere across the whole world. The Earth, the moon would, it's just not. It's just redunculous to think that, man. I mean, but if you do, much respect to you, But I just see too much evidence that we live with it.
Can I still throw my theory out here?
Yeah,
You can take a telescope and look as far as you can in a straight line.
Yeah.
But you can't set your telescope on the Earth and look in a straight line and see the other side of the Earth. Why is that? Because if the Earth was flat, you should be able to see the other side. But you can't, because the Earth's round and it drops off. You can never see the end.
Right.
No matter where you're at, you're never going to see the end.
Yeah, but you got mountains and stuff that it's going to block
If
your
you
view, man.
even if you went up high and went straight line, you're not going to see the other end. You're not going to see it. You never see the end.
I believe there's hidden technology, and I believe they're keeping something from us.
There's aliens there. Yeah.
Exactly. It's underground facilities.
Yeah.
Captain Bird flew over Antarctica.
It would look like the movie, what's that movie, Thor, where the Asgard is all flat. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen that movie where it shows Asgard, his home planet, and it's all flat, and then the water's just kind of running off of the edge, and you got everything built on it, but it's massive. You know what I mean? And it's.
Salty says, face it, if the Earth was flat and people truly believed it, Carmelo would be president. But thankfully, people do have common sense. No, and I'm not trying to make
Dude, when they do a poll and there's that many people,
let me just say this, because we're not here to disrespect anybody. If your opinion is that if the Earth is flat, then hey, I respect you. Hey, you have your reasons to believe that, and it is what it is. But
good.
In my, it's just too much evidence to say that the Earth is. It's just too much. I mean, you would have to really do something extraordinary to prove that the Earth is flat to me, because just the things we discussed on here tonight, there's just no way that's possible. It's just not possible. If Coy is correct, then we would have some photo proof. If we can photo all those plants, then we should be able to photo the point of drop off. We don't have a point. We don't have a photo of drop off. We don't. That's my whole point. You would have to reach the end. If something's flat, I don't care how big it is or how long it is or how much territory it is. Eventually, you're going to reach the end. There's
But
gonna
who's
be
going to
an
go
end.
out there if you're not allowed in the waters? I mean, you're saying, okay, are you going to get in a boat and go that way
Somebody
that
would
far?
reach the
Yeah, but
end.
you can go to the North Pole. Why can you go to the North Pole and you can't go to the South Pole?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
But there's also government to keep them away from places as well. They're just like the Native Americans down here, man. They don't own the land no more. They give them a plot and said, here, this is what you have. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, I am too. I don't look it, but I am. But yeah.
Philip Robbins, I want to make this point. I want to read this comment real quick. Satellite TV dishes point at an angle depending on where you are. They're all aiming at
Satellites.
Yeah, satellite orbiting
It's
above
orbiting
the
the
curved
Earth.
Earth. But go a few hundred miles, they change angle. Exactly. That's my whole point. We got satellites that circle the Earth to take photos of the Earth. It's round. I mean, all there is to it. There's no way it's flat. I mean, it's just not.
Okay. Do you believe God created the earth, or do you believe that there were dinosaurs here before God created the earth?
That gets in a whole different subject. If you want to
Well,
go
I
to,
mean, if you believe one, I mean, it's like saying, okay, yes, God created the
There
earth.
could have been-
Okay.
there could have been
How
a
come the
creation.
dinosaurs existed millions of years before that?
Because there could have been a creation here before us.
Exactly. We talked about this before.
No, we ain't.
Yeah, we have.
Because if it was nothing but darkness, how did he create the light and
Because it
everything? If
was
there was any kind of
destroyed.
animal,
There
dinosaurs, or plants,
was-
how would
there
they have
was-
lived in darkness?
There was a catastrophe that happened that destroyed everything.
So he came after
And
the
they say that
destruction
there's some,
and created a new
every
one.
every 2,000 years or 3,000 years, there's something that happens that destroys everything.
A reset.
But I'm saying, do
A
you
reset,
say,
yeah.
are you saying that God came after the destruction and created a new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times we went through this one live stream? I don't know what we were talking about. We could have been the time could have been started over and over and again several times. There could have been an end, another start.
What does it say in the Bible too? Is there's nothing new under the sun.
I didn't hear a word he said.
In the Bible, it says there's nothing new under the sun. It already has been. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing that we are creating today has already been created before it's been destroyed. There's nothing new under the sun. If there's nothing new under the sun, then we're not creating any kind of technology
or anything then, right?
Has been.
That hasn't already been. Exactly.
Because why
Well, I
would
believe there's been
why would he
technology
say
here
there's nothing
before.
new under the sun?
I believe there's been technology here before.
I think there's a lot of.
I don't believe we've been to. I don't believe we're the only creation that was on this planet.
No, that's what I said. I don't believe that. I believe there's been resets more than one time. We talked about the flood. That was a reset. I think there was resets before
The
that.
Dark Ages was the flu. What was that sickness? The plague. That was a reset. That wiped out millions of people.
It could have been an asteroid that hit the Earth and destroyed everything. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Frog says, I really need a doobie. I mean, if you're going to trip on a flat earth, you need some mushrooms. Yeah.
No, but I believe that we have been reset many a times. I believe that the technology we have now has been vanished or gone or whatever happened. And I believe we're doing that again. And that's what, if you want to get back into that, and we've talked about this before, I think we were heading toward it really fast toward another reset, because I think we were, with AI and everything that's going on in technology, we were just running toward it. And I think That's why Trump was put in place. And now you can hate me or say whatever you want to disagree with me. I don't care. But I think that's why Trump was put in place, because it was moving too fast. It wasn't meant to move that fast. And Trump has basically slowed everything down.
Yeah, because they wanted the New World Order. And Trump said, no, we're going to let the people have it. That's why they dislike him, because they all agreed they were all on the same side. Bush, Obama, all
Why do you think they have?
They all wanted the New World Order.
Why do you think they have underground cities built and tunnels everywhere? Because they know.
Well, they wanted the UN controlling the world, so
they know there's going to be another destruction come upon the earth, and they're trying to shield themselves from it.
And now the reset.
Candy, I don't know. I don't think we'll find out, man. Everybody said there's been 2 or 3 that said we'll find out when we don't. No, I don't think we will.
And think about this: if you go
we'll find out if it's
the earth with cities and tunnels, if the earth was flooded again, would you be flooded?
No. And America and Censored were not only 7,000 years old. The earth is way older than 7,000 years. Way older than that. There's no way it's only 7,000 years old.
Well, just like we talked about before, they keep saying, you know, these Europeans or whatever, Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, Indians was here. America was already discovered. It just wasn't discovered by those people. You know what I mean? There was people, Native Americans, already living here.
Good point, Philip.
Yeah, people had already discovered this place. They were the people that lived here.
Go ahead.
That's a lot of.
That's old.
That's a lot of time.
I don't know if it's that old, but I know it's more than 7,000 years old.
Well, I mean, you got to think though. How long is the dinosaurs? They say.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Philip says here. He says if Earth's only 7,000 years old, then dinosaur bones are just really elaborate Halloween props because they're older than that. The dinosaur bones. Do you see the dinosaur bone with your own eyes? Are we trying to say, this is not an attack on anybody in the chat or anything like that, but are we trying to say that the dinosaur bones are not real? And I've heard people say that before.
Oh yeah, I have too. I've heard a lot of them say they're fake.
Digging them out of the ground, I could see with my own eyes. You know, they're real. You know what I mean?
You see them out in the Dakotas digging them out, you know, feet deep, you know, several feet down. Is that what it is?
Wait a minute. How can America, 7,000 years old, you have no proof that those bones were dinosaurs? Yeah, you do. You put them together, you can see the whole structure of the.
Well, if they got DNA in them, if they got bone structure, bone marrow, DNA, you know they were real. Bones are real. We know what bones are because we have animals today that has bones. You can test bones against other bones and see if it's plastic or if it's bones.
Well,
that animal did exist, you know.
How long does it take to create oil?
That's a good point.
Because oil is created from dead matter, right?
Yeah.
So that would tell you how old the Earth is too, because there's
carbon dating proves
a lot of oil.
Way
how long does it take for that to decay and turn into oil?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Lolly says if you believe in carbon dating, which is also a conspiracy theory, and in a way I see what she's saying, because in a way I question that. I say, okay, so how do they carbon date? What do they put it against? Some chart that they made up. How do they know it's 65 million years old? Because they made up the chart. Are they guessing? I mean, how do you carbon date? Who created the machine to carbon date? You know what I mean? How do you actually know it's 65 million years or it's 200 years or why? How do you not know it's sooner or earlier, you know, or longer? Like how? And that's where I come in with my brain because it doesn't think like everybody, and it may certain people, but it's like, okay, so who created that machine? Who set the chart up? Who set the timelines up to that carbon dating? And how are they doing that and saying, okay, that's 7,000 years old because they checked it under a microscope and said, okay, how? Because they took a like a sample of the Earth that 3 foot down, and they just matched it? Does that mean how do they know it's that old? You know what I mean? Like, you got to question things.
Let them.
Do what now? Is it the alligator? Oh, the trees? But
Yeah,
how do
but
they go
now
from dating a
they
tree
can't
to
carbon
an
date
animal?
crystal. How do they know how old crystal is? Because they can't carbon date it.
Yeah. Dinosaurs are dragons, Jay keeps saying. I believe there was dragons. I just don't believe they found the bones of the right ones. I do too. They're in every culture. They're scripted. They're drawn. They're documented in every culture, and time it's passed down. They've talked about them and talked about them. Why all of a sudden they cut them out of history? You know what I mean?
For a fact.
Yeah, I mean Japan, China, all of them had their own theories of them, their own drawings, their own, you know. So
Well, they say that if you go back in time, why the dinosaurs were so large and animals were a lot bigger is because the oxygen level was a lot higher.
I mean, I've seen some
Well,
they pay millions of dollars for.
They said the theory of that is because of the flood. When the flood happened, and they were dispersed around. So that's some people's theory.
Right.
I don't know. I still go off of why, why should I listen to these people that's been teaching the same things and pushing the same narrative to and they tell you lies, and it's been proven that
Okay, well, you
they're
go on a
not
theory
always
that
they're not always right. You know what I mean? They're
right,
not
they're not,
always.
they're not, they're not, and I get what
Well,
you're
they
trying to say.
they change their theories all the time.
Yeah,
right.
That's why it's a theory.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah, it's why it's a
proven.
theory.
It's a
They're
theory. It's
still
what
learning.
they think.
Well, it's just like if you want to go back to the Bible. Let's go back to the Bible just for a second. People say, well, the Bible says blah, blah, blah. But there's things out of the Bible. There's things that weren't put into the Bible. There are books of the Bible that was not put into the Bible. Man changed things in the Bible. Man put things in the Bible that shouldn't have been there and shouldn't be there. So when you say you go on the Bible and you will go on the Word of God, much respect, and I'm glad you do, because the major things of how to be a functioning person, how to be respectful, and how to live your life is there. But there's things in the Bible that has been left out and man has altered and changed.
Yep.
So you got to be careful about saying, I believe just anything the Bible says, which is fine. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there's things that's been left out of the Bible. There's things that's happened in the past that's not in the Bible. There's things that man.
Well, if you read the book of Enoch, Enoch's not in the Bible.
King
And there's
James
a lot
Version,
of things there.
the King James Version, he decided what was going in the Bible and what was coming out.
Book of Mary
So
ain't in the
you have to
Bible.
be careful. You have to be careful.
When the Romans
All I'm
translated it from Latin to English, they put in what they wanted and the books they wanted, and they actually cut a lot of books out.
Right.
They know 14 at least that they cut out. That's the ones that they knew about. And then the other ones that emerged, you know what I mean? And they never wanted Mary's books in the, you know what I mean, in the Bible, because they didn't want anybody to go on what a woman would say about, you know, Jesus and stuff. And yeah, so when the
Well, they
Catholics
wanted
the
they- it's
Catholics
like-
had
it's
it
just like
when the
religion.
Catholics had it changed from Latin to English, they controlled it. So
Right. So it's just like if you go back to religion, what is religion about? Religion is about controlling the masses. You know, that's what there's
The Roman
a lot of-
Catholics.
Yeah, that's what it's about. So you
Roman
got to be careful.
Catholics.
You got to be
Roman,
careful.
not Catholics.
I'm saying.
Roman Catholics.
I mean, you can believe in God and Jesus and all that without,
I do.
you
Absolutely.
know, no, I'm saying people can do that without believing in everything in the Bible. You know what I mean? You don't have to just follow, it says follow Jesus, not follow your church, not follow your, you know what I mean? Your religion. Don't follow, you know, it's not, what I'm saying is, you know, follow Christ. Don't, you know, you don't have to follow your church or your so-called name of your religion. You know, you don't have to follow that. You just follow Christ. And, you know, and it does say, you know, there is a lot of good things in the Bible, but also there's a lot of stuff that man wrote. Even in those books, man wrote them, and 300 or 400 years later after Jesus died. So who's to say they were accurate? You know what I mean? On every detail. I mean, they're going off of stories and things that they heard, you know?
And Jesus spoke in parables a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, so the meaning might not be what the meaning you're getting or they were getting. You see what I mean? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I'm not saying I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and I believe in the Savior and I believe in God. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying man has altered a lot of things through time. Man have. When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to religion, when it comes to so many different things.
When it comes to
You
science.
got to be careful. When it comes to science.
Yeah, because if it's
careful.
If it's a scientist, a true scientist, they don't believe in God and creators. They believe in, you know.
But the thing is, right? They create things,
wackadoodle
right?
magic, you know.
Don't we create things?
What do you mean? We create a baby. Yeah.
We create all kinds of things.
Life.
don't we?
We create. What are you talking about?
We build buildings. We build cars.
Yeah. I'm not saying that.
we
I'm
are
saying
creators.
like scientists don't believe in a creator though. They believe in a combustion boom, and you know, man was created out of an earth or whatever, and all this was created out of some explosion. You know, true scientists, they don't believe in God. If you see them, they don't believe in God.
You can take a watch apart, put it in a box, and you can shake that box as much as you want. That watch is not coming together.
No.
That's true.
Until somebody puts it together.
Puts it together. Exactly. I see your point. I want to get this from Philip because it was interesting to me. Carbon dating measures the carbon-14 left in dead things while alive. They absorb it after death. It decays. By checking how much remains,
Right.
Scientists can tell how old it is up to about 50,000 years.
Yeah.
So
that's on things that decay and things that they can
Right.
do that with. Like I
Right.
said, with crystal, they can't age it.
Right.
So how do we know how old crystal is?
Or a fossil of a fish. How do they know
They don't
exact
know.
time it is
Right.
off a fossil? I mean, who was back? How do they know it was back there? How do they know that?
Right.
Right. Well, we had the topic of the crystal skulls, and they were saying that they could not date them because they had no way to date them. They had no way to tell how old they were.
I like that, Frog. If you believe the earth is round, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And this is for entertainment purposes only, guys.
Thank you
We
very
just
much.
like to speak our opinions and our thoughts on
Not here to
certain
convince
topics.
anybody of anything. Yep.
We're not influencers trying to influence anybody to do anything. We do not support violence. We are here just to have talking points on certain topics that we enjoy. So
what do we do? Have we debunked the flat Earth theory?
no,
or
I
we're
don't.
just
I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Y'all have.
You're saying yes, and Ray's saying no.
Debunked.
Until I get in an airplane or until I can see something other than a fish lens, bow lens camera on NASA, because I don't trust NASA. I don't trust the government. I don't trust any of that. I don't care what they say. We soak billions of dollars every year into something that we see really no results of except for some satellites. I mean, as much money as we soak in there, they should be making trips every other week, to space.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, truthfully, that's a lot of taxpayers' money that's going to that we don't see results, and then you get someone like Elon Musk that has to fly up and rescue some people, or whatever, and then okay, 3 of his before flights blew up midair, but this one that he has to take to rescue somebody is perfectly fine and never does anything, goes there and back perfectly. So I question everything. I have the reason
I
to
can tell you
question.
one
I have
thing,
the
Ray.
right to question it.
Yeah, NASA does agree with you about the firmament. They said
because they can't get through it.
NASA did come out and say that the Earth is surrounded by water, up in the atmosphere. That the Earth is surrounded by water. We're in like a water bubble.
Yeah, I believe it. Not just because of the Bible, but I believe it.
But I heard that.
I believe our
that
atmosphere cannot.
NASA said that is true. We are.
Well, I just don't believe our atmosphere could sustain moisture and rain and things like that if we didn't have that. You know what I mean? We would be an open space, just like space. If we didn't have something protecting us and keep it, you know what I mean? Having the O2 in and keeping. Why do you think they keep saying climate change, our O2 levels are going up, our O2 levels are going up? But if it was going up, it would just go into space and disappear. We'd never have to worry about it, right? Well, we have to. They keep saying that because we have to worry about it because we're inside something, and it's going to cause it so much. They're saying, "Hey, we're not going to be able to breathe." Why? Well, because we have a firmament around us.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Dave.
They're in the inner circle. They're in the inner space. They're not outer space.
Good point.
I don't believe it.
And they've taken pictures and sent them back, and they're still.
But to you guys, you can take a camera and a scope and look millions of miles out. So I mean,
it's all fake. I don't care what it is. You're fake. You're not real.
There's not nothing floating out in space that we're getting
Everything's fake.
pictures back from. There's no technology back then.
Let me just say
There's
this.
no internet service back then.
Let me just say this.
Think
you
about it.
You got to believe in something. Okay. Do you believe you're sitting where you're sitting? Do you believe that you're alive? Do you believe that you no?
I'm in a Matrix game, dude.
Do you feel that cigarette smoke going down in your lungs?
Nope.
I mean, you got to believe in something.
I mean, do you believe that cornflakes is really eggs and it tastes like eggs? I mean,
it could be.
Why? Who's to say? You know what I mean? Ketchup ain't mustard, and mustard ain't ketchup.
We all live.
Who come up with all this? Who tells our brain to think of this stuff? The same people that has said all this stuff from the beginning.
All right. With that being said, I very much respect your opinions, Ray, and I know
I'm just curious. I don't believe flat Earth. I'm just curious.
I know, and you're playing devil's advocate, and I appreciate that, and it makes for a good conversation. With that being said, I can't stay late on the channel tonight, so we're going to skedaddle. I want to thank everybody for being in the chats, all your comments. I just want everybody to know too that's in the chats and in the comments that are watching. Like Ray was saying earlier, we're not here to convince anybody of anything. We're just giving our opinions and what we think. That's why we pick these topics, because we're interested. And we want to hear what you guys have to think too, and what you guys think about it. Because then I can learn something. Maybe you can learn something from me. Maybe we can all go, maybe that makes sense. You know what I mean? So, and we're not here to disrespect anybody. So if you felt disrespected, my apologies, because we're not here to disrespect anybody. Everybody has their own ideas, their own opinions. And that's what makes life great. Because if we all thought the same, it'd be kind of, boring, wouldn't it?
We'd all be sheep.
Yep. Yeah. So let's all, it's great. It's great to question things. It's great to have these topics and just put our thoughts out there. That being said, make sure to check out Ray's channel, Ray's Motor Life, and his other channel,
Right Lane Talk Media. But that's not the focus. Let's not focus on my channel. Tonight we're going to focus on Dave's channel.
Wait a minute. I'm going to get there. Give me a second. Always check out Lost in the Woods. Go ahead. Notice you've been putting up some content. Good to see that. And absolutely, Ray has, from Gen X Unchained, has a new channel. He renamed his channel, and he's got a new platform coming up. And check out his channel. I wish I had your link to throw out.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I don't have it. Somebody out there can find the link. Frogzilla, somebody find Gen X Unchained's link and throw it out there, please. I would appreciate it. You're having your first new platform tomorrow night. Is that what you said, Dave? Tomorrow at 7 Central. So go check out his channel. Subscribe. If you like what we're doing here, I'm sure you're going to like his channel. I think it's going to be pretty much, he's going to talk about a lot of stuff. So, matter of fact, I'll let you explain it, Dave. Explain your channel and what you plan on doing in the future.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And I will be there tomorrow night. I will be there on your live stream. I will be in chat. I'll be in the chats.
That's what I was going to ask, man. Are you going to have guests on at times? Are you going to, and YouTube even to tell you, as you grow in your channel, popular topics will boom, dude. It will help your channel.
Thank you, Frogzilla. Appreciate you, man. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. We appreciate you. Alien? Oh, Lord. Aliens. All right. Our favorite topic. Aliens did it all. I'm an alien. I'm an alien. I'm a lizard guy, so I would show you my eyes, but it might freak you out. Yeah. But anyway, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you, man. I wish you nothing but success on your channel, and I think it's going to go well. I think you've already gained like 10 subscribers since you've changed yours to the way you've been doing things, and that's great. There's a lot of great channels out there in the chat. So you got Frogzilla, you got Mythical Rider, Mythical Themes. There's community chats out there, community live
Frog, that keeps going to your channel, buddy.
And we just appreciate everybody coming in. Wednesday night, we'll be back on the Rabbit Hole at 7:30, and we're going to be doing an open mic night. So basically, you're going to decide the topic out in the chats, and I'm going to put a link out if anybody wants to come up and has an opinion about something or wants to talk about something. Just let me know. I'll throw you a link out there, and you can come up and we'll talk about it. Me and my co-host will talk about what we're going to do next Sunday. Not sure about that yet. So we'll see you guys on the Rabbit Hole on Wednesday night. And don't forget my other channel, Retired Rider, Harley Road Glide. Check it out. It's a good channel. I don't care what Ray says. Ray says I have a horrible channel, but that's okay. I think it's a good channel. Anyway, thanks, Ray. Thanks, Coy. Thanks, Dave. Everybody in the chats, appreciate every one of you. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. We appreciate you guys just showing up here every week. I know it's summertime and things get wild and we want to get out and ride and do our thing. But here, all it does is rain. So we really can't do anything.
That's
Anyway.
right.
Stay safe out there and just, question everything and keep it real. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.